PDTI is the Public Defender Training Institute, and it is a class that is a full year, so it's once a week for an entire year. It's for second year or third year law students, and the goal of the class is basically to get us ready to do the job. I think obviously the biggest perk of that is that you're learning how to do the actual tasks and getting familiar with the actual skills you'll need to do well in your internships, but also to do well in your jobs once you graduate.
Law school does not train you how to become an attorney. It might teach you how to think like a lawyer and how to think about the law and engage with theoretical legal principles, including aspects of the criminal justice system. But it doesn't teach you how to relate to your clients. It doesn't teach you how to be strategic in your decision making and in your judgment calling when thinking about what arguments to advance before a court. It doesn't teach you how to perfect a suppression motion or how to counsel your client on taking a plea or not. Those are the things that the Public Defender Training Institute helps you develop.
Getting in on day one at a public defender's office, you're drinking out of the fire hydrant. There's so much new information coming at you about the people that you're working with, about the practices and policies of wherever you are, and the state-specific rules and the county-specific rules. And then you have the very nuts and bolts of how do I do this job? How do I write a direct examination? How do I do a preliminary hearing of a police officer? And those things come at you really fast. And what Public Defender Training Institute does is lays the groundwork so that no matter what comes at you, you can say, I've seen something like that before, and I know I have my notes here, and I can go back and look at my readings. Maybe you don't remember exactly what unit you learned about how to question a complaining witness, but you know that you heard it, and you can go back and you can find it and read it, and it's at least sort of this central location where anything you need to know, it's there.
On a very practical level, the course is split into really three parts. The first part is a 3-day kind of intensive the weekend before classes start. And that is you're on campus all day and you're just learning sort of the basics of advocacy. And so that's only 3 days. Part 2 is pretrial stuff. And so that's every single week there's a new kind of module. You have a lecture on it. You get an assignment based on these really elaborate fake cases that she creates, and so there's a lot of work to do. And so there's things like investigations, interviewing, developing a theory of your case. So all this stuff is like what you would do before trial. And then the second half of the class, which is the second semester, is all kind of trial advocacy. So you're talking about how to do an opening statement, how to cross-examine witnesses, how to do a direct, stuff like that.
The best thing about it is that you get to try to do a lot of things and you get to fail, which is nice, and you get to learn from Professor Primus, and she kind of you learn by doing, and I think that that's kind of the only real way to do it actually. And so we got to learn about how to argue a motion, we got to learn about negotiating with people, and so you get to try it out in class, and then also outside of class you get to work with, you're assigned to different partners who are in the class, so you get to learn from your classmates as well, which is really nice.
We had a witness interviewing simulation where we were assigned to basically take a statement from a witness. And so she had other past students play witnesses, and we had to practice interviewing them under kind of a quick time constraint and writing down everything they said and going back over it with them. So we would have out of class or in class simulations, and then we would come together and either perform parts of what we did, or sometimes we would have videos of the things we did outside of class, and she would kind of walk through them with us and talk about what we did well and what are ways we can improve.
I had never even considered some of the tools that I would learn here, which goes to show the granular level of detail that Eve Primus delivers on. She is teaching things that I don't know where other people learn them because it's so almost minute and specific. And yet public defenders use these tools every single day. There is no other training program like this in the country. I'm convinced of it.
The main thing I've learned is how law is only half the equation and storytelling is the other half. And so it's all about combining storytelling and law in the most persuasive way possible, because they're both persuasion, but you need both, and you need the right kind of sort of alchemy of both.
The Public Defender Training Institute is not just a place where you will learn the hard skills of what it takes to actually do this job day in, day out. It is an institute that is designed to also get you to never forget the softer skills. The fact that when you are a public defender in court, there is an individual whose very life and liberty is in your hands. That there is a huge responsibility that comes with telling someone else's story. And that your job is to work with and for your clients to fight against a carceral system that is designed to lock them away without recognizing their humanity or their dignity. To stand and be a fly in the ointment of the machinery that processes people into prison is a true honor. To be a lawyer who can connect families that would otherwise be separated by the prison system is a reward that is unlike anything you would ever feel. And the Public Defender Training Institute graduates leave with a zealous, client-centered mentality, with an understanding of the weight and responsibility of the work, but with a real zeal and desire to do it and to do it right. To be the storytellers, to be the individuals who stand in a courtroom and say that every person's humanity and dignity matters.